my name's Ewan Saunders and thanks for joining us. On today's show we have a young Muslim woman who is a political activist. Maryam has been active in the campaign against racism and Islamophobia, and I met Maryam at the first Reclaim Australia rally, the anti-Islam rally that was held in Brisbane a couple of months ago. So Maryam's here to speak to us about her experiences as an activist and as a young Muslim in Australia in the current political climate. Thanks for joining us, Maryam.
Thanks for having me.
So, as I said, you're a politically active young Muslim woman attending protests, standing up for social justice, that sort of thing. So could you tell me a little bit about what made you step off the sidelines and into the action?
Absolutely. So with the recent rise of Islamophobia during the last couple of years, I just thought that being silent wasn't going to be the solution. So I thought that I might as well step up and speak out against Islamophobia and how the government isn't really helping us in supporting Muslims and the recent attacks on mosques and stuff, and nobody's really speaking about it and speaking out against it. So I feel like Muslim voices aren't heard, and there aren't many young people who would step out and represent young Muslims and our voices. So I thought if I get into the whole political climate of things, I could definitely represent young Muslims and speak out against Islamophobia and just help the Muslim community move forward.
Okay, so there was a lot of fear in the Muslim community after the Martin Place siege, the Sydney siege. What was your experience as a young Muslim woman in that climate around that time?
Yeah, so I feel like my own experience and many other Muslims had the same experience, is that we got very defensive and we had to keep defending ourselves and against the public opinion. The media was really pushing us down, and it was hard for us to really feel wanted in this country. I definitely did not go out at all after that happened. Lucky me, because it was the holidays anyway, but I didn't feel very safe going out. The public wasn't really showing much support. Social media was terrible. I didn't really get on the internet much. But yeah, Muslims, we kind of just stuck together and tried to support ourselves, but we really needed more support from non-Muslims and other communities, but unfortunately we didn't really get that. So yeah, it was a hard time for us all, really. Yeah.
And where does that fear come from? I mean, it was the action of one man in Sydney. It was certainly, obviously not reflective on anyone but that man. So why is it that you think there was so much fear and I guess fear of attacks and the I'll ride with you hashtag about supporting Muslims, in particular Muslim women who wanted to ride on public transport without being abused or attacked? Where does that fear come from?
Well, the fear comes from the media, and the media does all the fear-mongering, as well as our Prime Minister in the government. They constantly stress that terrorist attacks will increase, that this is more likely to happen, and honestly, no, maybe we don't know what's going on behind the scenes and how many people they're stopping from doing these attacks, but I hardly doubt that it's the number that they suggest. But yeah, definitely the media did all the fear-mongering, and they didn't really try to support Muslims at all. They would do segments on how we struggle in this country, but they would just attack us rather than showing our struggles. They wouldn't listen to our voices being heard, but the hashtag it actually did make a big impact, especially since it went viral all around the world. That was nice. Honestly, me going out in public transport, I could tell everybody in the bus knew about this hashtag, but nobody specifically told me that, I'll ride with you. But you could feel the atmosphere, they definitely were kind of looking out for me, and I appreciated that. Even on university campuses, people were showing their support, which is always nice, but unfortunately it's not going to solve the bigger problem if the government and the media are just going to go against us, because honestly the public doesn't really have much of a voice either. We don't really make decisions, so yeah.
So in terms of the fear factor, bring it back to your experience, have you personally faced abuse, and if so, what happened?
Yeah, well, besides online abuse, sometimes I'd go out and people would kind of say things to me. Most of the time I wouldn't catch it, but the stares are unbearable. They've always been unbearable. But once I was walking down a main road and some guy stopped in the middle of the main road and spat at me, and I was like, why would you do that? But it was quite humiliating because like he stopped all the cars behind him, and then they all got angry, and like I felt bad. I felt like it was my fault, and I didn't really want to go to uni for a few weeks. I stayed home instead of going to classes, and I had a few other experiences where I'm on public transport and people like they imitate, like this guy was like shooting me with his finger, and I was making really loud noises, and the bus driver didn't say anything even though he saw, and everybody else would just like turn away and pretend they didn't see it. The bystanders would not help at all. Like just after the siege, actually last year, I went to Sydney for a couple of days, and I was on a train with my sister and a friend, and they were both like 6 months pregnant, and that was probably the first time I felt like I was useless or like helpless, because a woman came on and with her partner, and they started abusing us verbally and telling us they'd punch us in the face, and they'd kill us and stuff, and everybody in the carriage looked away physically, just moved their heads away, even though like there was nothing there but like a wall. So yeah, it was quite humiliating, honestly. I was more angry at the bystanders than the actual people attacking us, because most of them were women, and I was hoping that these women could stand up for us, especially since my friend and my sister were both like pregnant. It was quite obvious they were pregnant. But yeah, unfortunately, I haven't really received much support from bystanders, and it kind of discourages me from going out sometimes. But yeah, like everybody has bad experiences. Unfortunately, I didn't get anything really bad. Like a lot of my friends had their scarves pulled off, their hijabs pulled off, and yeah, and like even here, like in my local area, they had their hijabs pulled off. So I was like, how come it's not happening to me? Like, what if it's gonna happen to me? And I would wear more pins in my scarf just in case. Or like a lot of my friends carried extra scarves like in their bags just in case. And some people had coffees thrown at them and those kind of things. But like it hasn't happened to me, and I haven't seen it like happen to somebody else, because if I did, I would have probably went and attacked them. But I just feel like I can't help myself, and I can't help my community. Like I feel really like a victim, like I'm victimized, and I hate feeling like that. Like I always think that I'm quite strong when it comes to these things, but unfortunately, no. Like when it really comes down to it, I'm not. So yeah, my experience.
It's hard to get an idea of why people sit and do nothing when they witness things like this. There's been a couple of incidents in the news lately of similar sort of attacks, racist abuse on public transport. It seems that people are starting to stand up. What do you think it is that makes people sit there and just watch and not do anything when they see these things happening to two pregnant women nowadays?
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't. I think it's probably their own ignorance. Like they don't. It's not that they want it to happen to us. It's rather that they don't have the courage to stand up for us. They'd rather not be attacked too. So like I can see that side of things, but at the same time, they don't have to like physically move away and make it obvious that they're not trying to help at all. But yeah, I mean, I have no idea why they wouldn't, because I would do it for them. So yeah.
So Reclaim Australia, the organisers and other commentators critical of Islam have tried to say and said explicitly that they're for the rights of women. This is why they oppose Islam. Islam oppresses women, and we need to stand up against Islam for Muslim women, amongst others. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's hilarious that they say these things, because my religion gives me rights, and more rights than men, and I don't feel like I'm oppressed in any kind of way, and I know all my rights, and we have the right to be, the first of our rights that were given to us was that we have the right to be educated and to educate people, like women can do that. And I think education is key in most issues, like to solve most issues, because these people think we're oppressed, but we're not, and we're saying we're not oppressed, but they're like, yes, you are, and like, in a way, they're oppressing us, rather than actual Muslims or my religion oppressing us. So really, these people need to just like back off, I think. Like when they tell me I'm oppressed, I just want to laugh at them, but I can't do that because that's not really polite. But you know, I try to tell them in an educated way that no, I choose to wear the hijab. Like I choose to be a Muslim. Like it was always a choice for me, and I'll abide by my choices.
So tell me a little bit about the hijab itself. Why do you wear it? What does it mean to you? Because I think a lot of people who are, you know, who are not Muslim and are not exposed to the Muslim community or don't have any Muslim friends have all sorts of ideas and will get their ideas from, you know, all sorts of sources except Muslim. So what does the hijab mean to you?
Yeah. So the hijab is it's a sense of modesty. It gives me it is modesty, but what is modesty? Like anybody can interpret the hijab in their own way. It's not just covering my hair or my head or whatever, or wearing a scarf on my head. It's like the way I act with the opposite sex. It's the way I act in public, how professional I am. I want people to look at me and see that I'm educated, rather than I'm oppressed because I wear a piece of cloth on my head. You know, I cover up myself because I feel safe covering up like this. It's my own way of being modest. And when people tell me that I'm oppressed because I wear the hijab, I don't understand, because I feel like I'm being empowered in a sense because I choose to wear it. And not many people have like a choice, like to wear what they want. If you look at some Eastern countries, like it's in the Middle East, they don't have the choice to wear whatever they want. They don't have a choice to. They don't have the freedom to interpret the hijab in the way they want. And so I think when people say I'm oppressed, it's a bit funny, but honestly, I feel empowered and I feel liberated, and I feel like I'm very intelligent in a way, like in my own way, and I can express myself in my own way. So yeah, the hijab means a lot to me, and I wouldn't take it off for anybody. Really, if somebody pulled my hijab off in public, that'd be more humiliating than anything else. Honestly, yeah. So
just finally, we've now got, as we know, groups like Reclaim Australia, the Catch the Fire Ministries, the Christian fundamentalist organisations organising public rallies, organising publicly in general against Islam, criticising and attacking Islam and Muslims in Australia. So as a Muslim who's decided to take action against these sorts of things, what message do you have for young Muslims, other young Muslims in Australia who might be afraid of speaking up and standing up for themselves?
I'd say try to get your voices heard, even though you are scared, because like even in some ways I'm scared of like going out. Like I went to the counter rally by myself like last minute. I only found out about it like the night before, and I thought, you know what, this is my time to like speak out against these things, even if I'm the only Muslim. But yeah, I think a lot more young Muslims should come out and get involved in politics, and to show that we are knowledgeable in these kind of strategic ways. It's not always about religion, so we can show that we're not only influenced by religion, but you know, we can be knowledgeable in politics and get in it. I think the first step is to really get into politics, and then from there we'll expand. But honestly, more young people need to get involved, because the only Muslims in politics are like really old Muslims that have been here for a long time. So I think more young people are a bit more scared to get into politics because of like the whole extremist thing, and religion is like controlling us, and we're not knowledgeable in it, and we're being influenced by evil things. But yeah, I think more young people should come out to rallies and just to speak out against it. But if they're scared, it's totally understandable. But even if it's the smallest amount of Muslims, like it'd be like a huge thing. Yeah. Well,
thanks, Maryam, for joining us. I think it takes a lot of courage to to be out and proud and political
Yeah.
in this day and age in Australia. So thanks for joining us, and thank you for joining us, and please join us next time on the program.